important report, the State of the World's Volunteerism Report, commissioned by UNV. The report captures the value of volunteerism on a global scale, the value of solidarity, commitment and respect, and it deepens the understanding of the impact that volunteerism can have on our lives. It is also the first time that an organisation is attempting to acknowledge and recognise the work of volunteers all over the globe. Today I'm going to try and show you the relevance and importance of this report to the work we do and how it affects our lives. We hope through this report to change the perception of volunteerism to that of an essential component of change and progress. We hope that everyone will come to recognise volunteers are an essential and yet often only partly recognised and tapped sustainable renewable asset that can help make all our lives better ones. I would like to focus on three main themes of the report. First, why the report is launched now. Second, what are some of the unique characteristics of the report. And third, why does this report matter? So, to the first question, why this report now? We hope the report is bringing a renewed focus to volunteerism. Since 2001, we've had greater recognition of the achievements of volunteerism, but it has still not been enough. Volunteerism still often remains under the radar screen. The 2001 International Year of Volunteerism brought a new dynamism and a new recognition, but we need to take it further. With this report, we hope to bring a new energy and awareness about volunteerism in society and its contribution to the peace and development debate. This report is an attempt to bring recognition to the millions who are volunteering their time and energy doing crucial peace and development work in disaster, environmental, or in humanitarian situations. Millions of people around the world volunteer their times and skills. In fact, in a study of just 36 countries, it was estimated that there are 140 million people who volunteer at a given time in just those 36 countries. Now, if you imagine if those 140 million people made up a country called Volunteerland, it would be the 9th largest country in the world. On this 10th anniversary of the International Year of Volunteers, we have an opportunity to launch a report that extends awareness. As the UN focal point for the International Year, the UNV programme has undertaken this study to focus attention on the importance and contribution of global volunteerism. We are all facing the daunting task of achieving the Millennium Development Goals and countless other development challenges in many countries around the world. Volunteerism is a key ingredient that can respond in a positive way to these challenges and change the way we approach development. We need the participation of millions of citizens in order to achieve those Millennium Development Goals. This is an opportunity and a time to recognise this untapped resource and place it in the centre of development discourse, especially as we move towards Rio+20, or the Convention of Human Sustainable Development, which will take place in Brazil next year. Let me give you a local example. In the Philippines, the recent tragic floods brought about by the last two typhoons, Pedring and Kiel, have once again tested the resilience of this beautiful nation. But they have provided a new opportunity for a large part of society to exercise Bayanihan, the local term describing volunteerism, from helping their neighbours to distributing food and to cleaning up once the floods subside. Bayanihan is deeply rooted in the national and local cultures of the Philippines. So what are some of the unique characteristics of this report? It challenges some dominant misperceptions, including that volunteering is associated exclusively with altruistic acts of helping others. This is a point of view that results in vastly underestimating the range and impact of volunteer action. Instead, the report locates volunteerism at the heart of an emerging development agenda, linking volunteerism's contribution in sustainable human development, in disaster relief, in environmental stewardship, in poverty reduction, health, education, and much more. The report demonstrates that volunteerism permeates every aspect of life and every culture. It challenges the pre-existing perception that volunteerism is a northern-based or Western phenomena, or that there is a predominant north to south participation. In fact, it is not just a philanthropic action for the rich. Volunteerism is widespread among the income poor. And female and male volunteers contribute approximately the same number of hours. All of us here today have been volunteers, formally or informally, at some points in our lives. We all have a desire to contribute, a hope to partake in our common humanity, and a desire to extend a helping hand where it is most needed. The evidence is overwhelming. Volunteerism is the foundation of traditional society, and it's the glue that keeps those societies together. In southern Africa, it is called Ubuntu. In Indonesia, it's called Gotong Royong. In Ecuador and Peru, it's called Mingas. In the Philippines, it's called Bayanihan in Luzon, Haina in Visaya, Kapamagogopo in Mindanao, among many other terms in all regions around the country. These are all expressions of people's voluntary engagement in their communities. It may be a different word, but it's the same concept, no matter what the language. It's a drive to engage voluntarily in your own community to change things for the better. Studies have shown that people who volunteer are much happier and they live longer lives. So I hope you're all taking note of that. Volunteerism brings compassion and a sense of connectedness. It brings a sense of cooperation at the community level, a feeling that can foster solidarity, improve development effectiveness, and also contribute to the peace and development in general. And there are new trends that are helping to further this sense of connectedness. The report highlights three major trends in the wake of globalization and the digital age. Migration and travel are transforming the way people volunteer. The private sector has an increasing involvement in volunteerism, and information and communication technologies are opening up new means of civic engagement. Volunteering is joining the modern age. Take, for example, online volunteering, which is on the rise despite the significant gap between developing and developed countries in terms of internet access. Rashid is a young man in Pakistan who started an NGO to serve people with disabilities in his country. Rashid works with a group of 10 volunteers who are part of UNV's online volunteering service, and they together help the NGO function. Rashid's team writes grant proposals, creates guidelines, and develops strategic plans, and this is all accomplished online. The UNV program manages the online volunteer service so that thousands of people can volunteer from their homes. There's no longer an insurmountable distance between those who want to offer their skills to communities that need their help. It can be as simple as a cell phone. In Rwanda, for example, the government has distributed cell phones to the volunteer health workers who travel into rural areas. Thanks to these cell phones, volunteers can send an emergency alert to help a pregnant woman in distress. They can monitor the situation and provide support long distance. This is the new age of volunteerism. Finally, let me come to why does this report matter? It matters because people are the wealth of a nation. And if people